Okay, so here is another variation of the normal distribution question for inverse. What we are looking at is a question that is asking us to find the mean or the standard deviation, and in this case it's asking us to find the mean. Alright, what is going on? Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so let's go ahead and try this question. Okay, so heights of plants normally distributed with an unknown mean, so we know that don't know the mean. Only know the standard deviation and 40%, so that's the area, and we know the x value. So what would this look like on a normal distribution curve? I'm sorry for my crappy normal distribution curves, but they're meant to be more symmetrical. We don't know what the mean is. We do know what the standard deviation is. 40% of plants are at least 28 centimeters in height, meaning wherever 28 falls, I'm just going to assume that it's here for no reason. At least, meaning they are at least 28 centimeters and taller. Therefore, we're looking at this entire area of the curve. So 28%, sorry, 28 falls somewhere here, and this is 40%, which as a decimal is 0.4. Actually, I'm going to draw that again. That is 0.4. 40% as a decimal, 0.4. Mean, we don't know. And then standard deviation is 5. Okay, so to figure out what the mean is, we need to use the formula that is going to be given to you guys on the formula sheet. So it is z is equal to x minus mean all over standard deviation. No, you don't need to memorize it. It will be given to you on the formula sheet. You just need to use it. So a little bit of algebra coming your way. Alright, so to use this formula, if you think about it, you know standard deviation. We don't know mean. That's what we're trying to find. We know x, it's 28. We don't know z. So we're going to use our graphics calculator to find z. Same drill. This could be part of your working out. You're going to exit this. Now, what you need to do is enter everything as normal. Tail area in this situation is right. And area is 0.4. But we're going to put mean as 0 and standard deviation as 1. Please don't, if you're thinking why, might be best if you just ask your teacher, because I can't cover that right now. It just relies on the basic understanding. Sorry, I forgot to change the tail area. Though you're getting a value of x, it's actually z, so write it down as 0.2533. Okay, now once we know that, the rest is quite easy. So you're going to substitute that in the formula to rearrange for mean and figure that one out. So z is equal to x minus mean over standard deviation. Z is 0.2533. Also, by the way, sometimes your z values can be negative, and if they are, Please don't ignore the negative. Make sure you write that down as is. It will just make all the difference when you are simplifying your algebra. Alright, so yeah. Now simple cross multiplication. So 5 times 0.2. Remember, we're solving for mean. And I know you're probably thinking, this is not what I signed up for, this is algebra, but it's still logical thinking. Okay, so this is 5 times 0.2533. That's 28 minus mean. And if we if we move the mean to this side and move this to the other side, mean here is negative, and when it comes to the left hand side of the equals to, it becomes positive. That's what we want, right? We want the mean to be a positive because we're looking at heights. Heights can't be negative. And therefore 1.265 becomes negative. So the mean height is 26.7. I'm going to round this value up to 3 meters. Remember to put that in a sentence, so you're just going to write something like the mean height of these trees is 26.73 meters. Alright, I've got another question here. I think this is from 2022 exam question. So you could pause and try this yourself, or you could just work it alongside of me. About 85% use less than 2,000 liters per day. If the standard deviation is this, calculate the mean. Yep. So we'll sketch another curve. And once again, we don't know what the mean is. Well, I chose this question so you could just practice a skill that we kind of just learned. Standard deviation is 450 and 85%. So the reason why, even in the previous question, I sketched the normal distribution curve again is because if it's a large area, so 85% as a decimal is 0.85. If the entire area under the curve is 1, we're looking at, roughly this whole area. 40% to me in the previous question didn't seem like accurate representation. That's why I resketched it. So in this case, this entire area is 0.85 and the x value is 2000. Oh, my bad. They're using less than 2000. Okay, so we'll do that again. Yep, so 85%. Because they said less than 2000, I'm gonna say 2000 is here and all of this is 0.85. Great. Same drill again. We are going to first calculate z-score from graphics calculator. Your mean is 0, standard deviation is 1. That's unfortunately something you need to remember. It's not going to be given to you anywhere, it's just something that you need to remember. Tail is to the right. And area is 0.85. Well, we don't need x for now. Okay, so let's do this. Exit. Tail is, oh, my bad. Honestly, that's why it's good to sketch the normal distribution curve so that you can see visually where we're going with the tail area. Is it to the right of something? Is it to the left of something? Or did you make a mistake? Whatever. Great, so that gives us an x value of 1 point, what was that? 036. Alright, so now we're going to use our z-score formula. So z is equal to x minus mu over standard deviation. Once again, this is something that will be given to you on your formula sheet, so no, you don't need to memorize this. But I mean, it's not hard, right? So we're just going to substitute what we got for z into the formula, and x was 2000. Mean is what we don't know, we're trying to figure that out, and standard deviation is 450. Great, now cross multiply, so we get okay, and then a little bit of rearranging. Mean comes to the other side, becomes positive. 2000 stays the same, and then 466.20 goes to the other side, and it becomes negative. I feel like I need to find a question where we will have a negative z-score, just in case. But we'll see. 1533.8. Alright, so that's the final answer, and all you have to do is put that in a sentence as a final touch. Generally, these questions are an E question. That is probably the easiest E7 in this entire exam. As long as you remember that mean is 0, standard deviation is 1, and you just need to get a z-score, and then therefore rearrange the formula to get mean. And of course, write it as a sentence. Wonderful. I will try and find a question which has a z-score that is negative. Otherwise, my next video will be about calculating the standard deviation, because you could be asked that too. It's not always going to be just mean. See ya.